Hi there, Richard. So you're here at DevWeek and you're doing sessions on some .NET Framework 4 technologies and a little bit more. So you've done one session. What was that one about?
I did sort of a basic introduction to workflow because still, even after all these years really of it being out, it's still a very unfamiliar and strange territory for a lot of people. So I was just trying to give people an idea of what this framework was about, what it was trying to achieve, and basically how the 3.5 framework works.
Did you get a show of hands out of curiosity of who in the audience had already done some workflow?
Yep, I had 50 odd people there and it was two.
And are they two who were playing with it or two who were actually doing something with it?
One done something serious with it, one was played about with it.
And that sort of matches what we've got. So we've had a bunch of early adopters who looked at it, and then a small number are really using it, and they're quite happy, but it's a small percentage. So you've been looking at .NET 4 workflow.
I have. Very different worlds.
Which build have you been using?
I've got PDC build, which is interesting.
Now, that's quite an old build from October, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. And is there good stuff in there?
There's some awesome stuff in it. But it's really rough around the edges, as you expect on a pre-alpha build. So, for example, they looked at all the feedback they got from previous versions of workflow, and they realised that actually there's some fundamental issues that have to be solved. Part of it was just the serialization footprint, for example. So they changed the whole way that data flows around inside a workflow to make it much more sort of regimented and
so should we think of this as a major rewrite? So if you've looked at workflow before, should you be thinking, oh, this is a major rewrite time for Microsoft?
Yeah, so all the kind of the basic concepts of what workflow's about all are still completely valid, but we have a fundamentally different API now.
Okay,
and different designers.
Different designers as well. And is the designer stable in the October build?
The designer, if you know what to avoid, the designer stays up, but it crashes spectacularly at times.
Now, Friday you're doing a full session on this and a bit more. So what's the other bits you show?
So I'm starting off talking about the workflow for architecture, how that sort of hangs together, what the new bits are, the different new async model, and a whole bunch of different pieces. Then I'm going to move on to how building declarative services of workflow, because that's one of the really big pushes of the new workflow environment is building services. And one of the real pains you always have with workflow 3.5 is you're always responsible for writing the host.
Right.
And there's a new one now.
And that changes now.
Yeah, there's Dublin, which is a very impressive. If you've done BizTalk before, the whole infrastructure that Dublin presents you is a strangely familiar one. A lot of the functionality that BizTalk provides is mimicked by Dublin, but also some of the user interface and the management is very familiar.
So, I mean, it's early days. We haven't got a beta yet of .NET 4, but in your gut, do you think we've got a winner with the new workflow technology? Does it feel like we're heading in the right direction quickly?
It feels like basically the team listened to all the pain points of workflow, and sadly what they couldn't do was say we can take the existing code base and we can just tweak it a bit and fix those things. But fortunately I think part of the sort of lesser adoption of workflow compared with WCF and WPF means that they're not hurting so many people by doing it. And there is an interop story, although it's not completely rounded. So.
Okay. And have you managed to get any sessions? Have you attended any? It's difficult when you're a speaker.
No, I haven't. I meant to. I'm going to go to a couple today.
Okay. And you have some colleagues here too?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of us here.
From developmental?
From developmental and sort of knowledge, yeah.
And also, brilliant. Thanks very much for that.
Okay, thank you very much.